Welcome to Auction version 4, the latest event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this last tutorial in the Event Night series, I will show you the Check-in Attendees action. To get to the Event Night tasks at your event, click the Event Night button on the main home taskbar. The first action in the Event Night task is Check-in Attendees. It comes first in the list of actions because this action would occur at check-in, the very beginning of your event. For most organizations, the vast majority of their guests have pre-registered when they purchase tickets to the event. If most of your guests are known in advance, there is a much faster way to check in guests than using the computers at check-in. Make sure all the pre-registered guests are already entered in Auction and bid numbers have been assigned. In Auction, you can make labels for these guests that include their names, bid numbers, table assignments, and even meal selection. Put the labels on check-in packets, the catalog, or a bid paddle. When the guests arrive, hand them their labeled bid packet or bid paddle. Anyone who did not pick up their packet is a no-show. Everyone else checked in. Auction can also generate a check-in report that has a checkbox next to each registered participant's name. Use the report to check off people that have been checked in. What if you have a few or many walk-in guests? Rather than have a line form at a computer, we suggest you pre-print some type of form to have the guests fill out with their name, address, email, phone, or whatever information you need for your records. The guest fills out the form and you give the guest a unique bid number. Make sure the bid number the guest is using is included on the card. The card can be sent back to the computer area where your data entry team can enter the walk-in guest into the project, including the bid number. The guest does not need to hang around while their name and bid number gets entered in Auction. They can be off bidding as soon as they fill out the card, and your data entry team is much less likely to make a mistake as they're typing the information into Auction in a private data entry room rather than at the noisy check-in area. However, if you do have an experienced data entry team and a network of computers, you can use the check-in guests activity in Event Night to check in guests right into the project. This is the check-in guest screen. On the left side of the screen is a list of potential guests, and the right side is the guests that have already checked in. Let's start with the ribbon along the top. If you need to add a new person to the list of names, click the plus button. A new name entry form will pop up in front of this screen. I suggest you start filling out this form by filling in the last name of the primary first. Auction will show you if there is any potential matches for that last name. You never know. The person could already be in the list of names, so if there's a real match, rather than make a new name record, use the match and add a bid number or change the bid number for the match if desired. If there is no match, after typing the last name, type in the first name and any other information. When you save the name entry form, you will be right back to the check-in guest screen. The Reports button will take you to a couple of reports you may find useful for check-in. One is the check-in report of expected attendees. This is a report I mentioned earlier that has a checkbox next to each attendee's name. There is also a check-in report showing balance due, so if anyone's tickets have not been paid for in advance, this report will show the purchaser's balance due. If the attendee is a guest of someone else, this report will not show a balance due next to the guest name, but it will show a balance due for the purchaser. And if you have any custom reports that you've saved that can help with check-in, your custom reports can be accessed from the Reports button. If you wish to go directly to print invoices or go to the winning bid entry screen, those buttons are here too, along with the Urgent SOS button, which has information on how to contact technical support at Auction Systems. The list of potential attendees that need to check in will be selected for you, and the filters that control who is in the list are above the list of names. The default list of names are people who are marked as attending, who have been assigned an entry, and people who are attending who have not been assigned an entry. If you have not marked people as attending in your data set, either from their individual name records or from the event prep task, there won't be anybody in the list of names below. If you want to include people whose attendance status is unknown, click the Unknown button. To include people who have sent in their regrets and that has been recorded in Auction, click Regrets. You can also filter the list by using refinements. A likely refinement is checked in, and choose to see only people who have not checked in. Then this list below will only show the people who have not yet checked in. Perhaps a company is bringing a lot of people and they're checking in all at once. You can refine the list of names to people sitting at a certain table, or if you've been using group assignments, refine to a certain group. You can refine to people with a certain last name, and there are many other potential refinements to help you filter the list below. If a name in the list below does not have a bid number or a correction needs to be made, right-click on any name in the list and choose Edit to edit the particulars of a certain name. Perhaps you did not know the actual name of a person in advance, but have a placeholder record in your list below that is something like guest of someone or guest of a company. Edit this name record to change it to the actual name of the person attending. To check in a guest, click the person's name in the list of potential attendees below so that it shows up in dark red. Then click the single right arrow to move that just selected person to the list of checked-in guests on the right. To select a consecutive group of guests, click the first person in the list, hold down your Shift key, and click the last person in the group, and all the intervening names will also be selected. Still, use the single right arrow to move all the selected records to the right to the check-in list. To select non-consecutive names, select a name that is checking in, hold down your Control key, and click on another guest that is checking in. With the Control key still held down, click on another name that is checking in, etc. And still use the single right arrow to move the selected names to the checked-in list. The double right arrow will move everyone in the list below, even if they're not selected, to the checked-in list. Only use double right arrow if you have used the refinements and RSVP status to filter the list to only the people that are really checking in. The single left arrow will only move selected names from the right list of checked-in guests back to the unchecked-in area. And the double left arrow will move everyone in the checked-in list back to the not checked-in. Please see our other V4 tutorial topics. Thank you for joining us.